Assalamualaikum to our beloved lecturer, Dr. Mat Faizal bin Jamaluddin. We have chosen Shariah audit as our topic to be discussed along with the chosen issue, which is limited competency and expertise of Shariah auditors. We begin with introduction, next explanation and argument about the key issues, appropriate analysis and evaluation, conclusion and recommendation, and lastly references. I am Najatul Ulia binti Mak Rusli. I would like to start with introduction of Shariah audit. So, what is Shariah audit? Shariah audit is a systematic process that examines whether all activities of Islamic financial institution comply with Shariah principles. It includes financial statement, use of technological information, operating processes, parties involved in the business Islamic activities of Islamic financial institution, documentations and contract, policies and procedure, and other activities that require compliance with Shariah principles. Why is audit Shariah important? Firstly, it could minimize the risk of non-compliance with Shariah, which may have negative impact on the institution's Shariah governance. Next, it could enhance and preserve the public and stakeholder confidence in Islamic financial institution. Moreover, it could ensure overall process and activities in Islamic financial institution comply with Shariah principles. Lastly, it could provide independent and objective assurance on Shariah compliance. Next, let's dive into the overview of limited competency and expertise of Shariah auditor. As the Shariah-based sector continues to grow, effective Shariah audit practices are increasingly important to maintain public trust and accountability. However, despite regulatory guidance, several issues and challenges remain in current Shariah audit practices. One significant challenge is the independence of the Shariah audit function, which directly affect the objectivity and credibility of Shariah audit findings. I will hand over the next presentation to Alia.
Next, we move into explanation and arguments of the issues. The first content is about lack of standardization in Shariah audit practices. In Malaysia, there is no single detailed standard that fully guides how Shariah audit should be conducted across all Islamic institutions. Different banks or organizations apply different approaches, scopes, and methods. Hence, it creates inconsistency. When Shariah audits are not standardized, the level of Shariah compliance becomes difficult to compare between institutions. Stakeholders may question whether all institutions are truly following Islamic principles or just interpreting them differently. A uniform framework would strengthen credibility and public trust. Next is limited Shariah knowledge among auditors. Many auditors are trained mainly in conventional auditing and accounting. However, Shariah audit requires additional knowledge in Islamic law, fiqh muamalat, and Shariah principles. Without strong Shariah knowledge, auditors may fail to detect non-compliance issues such as riba, gharar, or non-halal activities. This weakens the purpose of Shariah audit, which is not only to check numbers but also to ensure Islamic values are upheld in operations. Last but not least is insufficient training and professional development. There are limited structured training programs that combine both auditing skills and Shariah expertise. Without continuous training, auditors may struggle to keep up with new Islamic financial products and complex contracts. This reduces audit quality and may lead to unintentional Shariah violations. Investing in training strengthens both compliance and institutional integrity. Now I'll be passing the presentation to Asbiha Natasha to present about appropriate analysis and evaluation of the issues.
Thank you, Alia. Now I am going to further explain the appropriate analysis of Shariah audit. One of the main issues identified is the lack of standardized Shariah audit framework causing inconsistent audit practices across institutions. Although regulators provide general guidelines, there are no detailed and uniform audit procedures. As a result, Shariah audit practices differ across institutions. This inconsistency reduces the reliability of audit findings and may weaken the effective Shariah compliance. Another significant challenge is the competency gap among Sharia auditors. Many auditors involved in Sharia audit have a strong background in conventional auditing but lack sufficient Sharia knowledge, particularly in fiqh muamalat and Islamic banking principles. This imbalance limits their ability to properly evaluate Islamic financial transactions from a Sharia perspective. As a result, Sharia audit often focus on documentation and procedure rather than assessing the true substance of Sharia compliance. This situation increases the risk that Sharia non-compliance may go undetected, which can undermine the objective of Sharia audit and weaken stakeholder confidence in Islamic financial institutions. The next one, the article also highlights the concern regarding auditor independence. In many institutions, the Sharia audit function is placed under the Internal Audit Department. This structure may limit auditor objectivity and professional judgment. As a result, the effectiveness of Sharia audit as an independent assurance mechanism may be reduced. Therefore, I will also explain the evaluation based on this analysis. Firstly, the lack of standardized Sharia audit framework results in inconsistent audit practices and reporting across Islamic financial institutions. This inconsistency weakens the reliability and comparability of audit findings. Therefore, the development of a uniform Sharia audit framework is essential to ensure consistent, transparent, and effective Sharia compliance within Malaysia's Islamic finance sector. Secondly, the competency gap among Sharia auditors, who are often strong in conventional auditing but weak in Sharia knowledge, limit their ability to assess Sharia compliance effectively. This situation increases the risk of audit focusing on documentation rather than actual Sharia adherence. Therefore, enhancing auditor Sharia knowledge and specialized training is essential to ensure effective and reliable Sharia audit practices. Next, the issue of independence and organizational structure is highlighted. When the Sharia audit function is placed under the Internal Audit Department, auditors' independence and objectivity may be compromised. This structure can restrict professional judgment and reduce the effectiveness of Sharia audit as an independent assurance function. A more autonomous reporting structure is therefore necessary to strengthen its role in Sharia governance. I will now pass the presentation to Atina Najwa to explain the conclusion and recommendation.
Thank you, Biha, for the explanation. To conclude, Sharia auditing plays an important role in ensuring that Islamic financial institutions operate in accordance with Sharia principles while maintaining ethics, professionalism, and stakeholder confidence. However, challenges such as the lack of standardized Sharia audit framework, competency gaps among auditors, limited auditor independence due to organizational structure, and weak enforcement and follow-up mechanism reduce the effectiveness of Sharia audit practice. These issues may lead to inconsistent audit outcome and increase the risk of Sharia non-compliance. Therefore, strengthening audit frameworks, improving auditor competency, enhancing independence, and ensuring effective enforcement are crucial to enhance the credibility and effectiveness of Sharia auditing. Based on the issues discussed, several balanced recommendations can be suggested. First, existing Sharia audit frameworks should be improved and clarified, especially in terms of audit scope, procedures, and reporting. This allows Islamic financial institutions to strengthen Sharia audit practice without major cost or disruption. Second, auditor independence should be strengthened by establishing clear reporting lines and responsibilities in audit charters. This helps protect auditor objectivity without requiring major organizational changes.